Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Music Mentality with Angie. I'm Angie, and on this week's episode, we'll be exploring Chris Nine's music. Chris is an amazing guy who I've had the opportunity to jam out with, and I can confidently say this dude has got some crazy skills. It's come to my attention that something that is hardly ever spoken about on this podcast is love and heartbreak. But it's okay because on this episode, we do touch on both love and heartbreak. We also talk a lot about acknowledging your feelings versus working through those feelings, whether or not success and goals go hand in hand, and we talk about showing up. For all you astrology lovers out there, we also talk about that. You can find Chris's music on all streaming platforms by just searching up Chris Nine. What's your day been like today? How are you?
Oh, I just woke up like 30 minutes ago.
Oh my God. Yeah, honestly, I feel you. I myself have been dealing with like so much, particularly so many things that have like gotten me to feel burnout. So, and because of that burnout, like I can't even deal with anything minuscule anymore. Last week, I cried over not being able to find a shirt that I really wanted in a store. That's where I'm at. Pardon?
Trying to find a shirt in the store?
Yeah, they were all sold out of the top that I wanted. And I was like, oh my God, why is nothing working out?
Oh my God. I know. I feel like everyone's dealing with that right now because I feel like nothing is working out a little bit, but it's also the overall stress of the pandemic, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that and like everything else happening in the world right now.
I know. Literally, I just heard about like this morning.
I know. So how are you coping with external stress, internal stress, everything going on in your personal and not personal life? How do you cope with it?
Oh my God. I think I just like stress out more. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, are you joking though?
I deal with stress. I deal with stress by stressing out more. No, I think it's more of a conversation of, music. Okay, so sometimes when I'm dealing with it, I feel like I either will go to music. So I'll either write something or I'll start to get some like lyrics down of some sort. You know what I mean? Like something like that. And then there's like that mentality where like I'll use music. But there's sometimes where I just don't, because like for me, stress kind of closes up like my throat. So I can't sing sometimes. So I'll you just play some guitar or whatever. But in general, I just try to like take the day or take whatever it is for myself to like drive, not think, just be for a second, get enveloped by the emotions, understand I have emotions and move through it like that. And that's kind of like the general idea, I would say, because like it's more about like processing it and like not really sitting there and being like, oh my God, like I'm pushing it down. Like just whatever it takes to not push it down.
Yeah.
Is what I try to do. I try to like lift it. You know what I mean?
I do because I've been a huge advocate against toxic positivity, because I feel like our culture really breeds like this need to be positive and affirm yourself over and over again that like you're okay and life's great and lollipops and rainbows and stuff. But like realistically, the best thing I can do for myself personally is be like, life fucking sucks right now. Like I want to cry and I want to scream and I'm like going to throw a temper tantrum because I need to get it out because it sucks and it's always going to suck. Yeah. This moment right here is always going to suck. Yeah. I'm going to get better. I know that, but like it sucks.
I love this because honestly, like that's exactly, I always say like people just like, oh, just like, don't think about it. Just blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, like they're not thinking about like not ruminating. Sure. But then I'm also like, but something's actually going on. And for you to sit there and say like something is not going on or acknowledging why you feel that way, it doesn't help. You're not fixing it. You're just ignoring it. You're just bottling it up. Yeah. Like, and then it comes out in different ways.
And I think it comes from like this internalized mental health stigma where no one wants to, people are afraid of crying, people are afraid of tears, people are afraid of anger and these like the negative side of our emotions, and people are scared to like, for example, growing up, if I was crying, and I'm guilty of it too, when my friend was crying, I'd be like, don't cry, but like, yeah, cry.
yeah cry.
Yeah. Like, and I feel like that is the number one thing, or even like trying to acknowledge a silver lining within a situation. That is an amazing practice to be able to be like, okay, life is shit right now, but here's a silver lining. For me personally, I just can't do that right away.
No, I'm not like the best at sitting there right away and be like, oh my God, like I was like, oh, I got food on my table. Like I'm stressing out. I'm not thinking about that right now. But what I will do is I'll sit there and I'll do affirmations of some sort at one point.
Oh, cool.
And I'll have the conversation like with myself about things are going my life's not total shit. It's just like right now, this is not the best.
So what kind of
Um,
affirmations?
I mean, a lot of mine kind of deal with like stuff with music, like things are going well. Like, I don't know, like looking at things that are positive that are happening at the moment. Like I did this cool thing. I had, this kind of day yesterday. This kind of person said I was genuine. Like just, like I don't know, like things that are nice, things that make me feel like, like there is positivity, just that this one specific thing is not going well, and going through that. And I don't know, like just having a conversation with myself, like Chris, like not that it's not that big of a deal, but like there is positive things happening in general. So
But can you have that conversation with yourself as it's happening right away? Because I can only have that conversation a couple of days after I've cooled down.
after, well, no, not a couple of days after. I'll have the conversation, like, I don't know, like during it, sort of, but like try to. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll like sit there and I'll be like, okay, like this is happening right now. Like, just like, let's just say these things to myself, and then I'll kind of say them, and then I'll kind of repeat them a few times, and then I'll kind of like, I'll revisit it. I'll say it, and then I'll revisit it. I'll say it, I'll revisit it. I'll say it, I'll revisit it. I'll say it, I'll revisit it.
So
So on and so
is
forth.
there ever a time that doesn't work? Like, have you ever gone through something so difficult where like it doesn't matter how many positive affirmations you give yourself, it just doesn't work until time passes, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, I'm recently dealing with something as well that it was kind of like in the same kind of category as, like, I'll say the affirmations, but do they actually really help right away? Like, no.
Mhm.
Um,
Would you be willing to open up about it?
it's more like a heartbreak type thing.
It's like sung about often. And I feel like because it's sung about, people don't feel the need to talk about it as much because I've actually not talked about heartbreak on any of my interviews yet.
Talking to the person, you're talking to the guy. You're talking to the
Please,
guy.
please
That's
share.
like all my songs, man. That's all my songs. But I don't just go like heartbreak, like, like, oh my God, so cute. I'm talking about heartbreak in a way where it's like, I don't know. The
The ugly truth behind
no,
heartbreak.
the dichotomy of love and passion, and how it could be a double-edged sword.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I don't, yeah.
that's
I
very
don't look
deep.
at things just like this is bad or this is good or this was a really bad moment. I look at things like, what is the bigger world? Maybe it's a Sagittarius thing. I look like, what is the bigger world picture that something is trying to say to me here? You know what I mean? And I'll sit there and I'll be like, how did I feel here? Why did I feel like this? But I'll also sit there and I'll be like, did I enjoy this when it was good? Yes. Why is it bad? What went down to make it bad? And then I'll kind of like, you know, uh, I'll kind of like pose those two ideas together and be like, this good is there with the bad. It's kind of like yin and yang, and then I'll kind of have conversations about that kind of stuff. But heartbreak is definitely something that is motivation behind most of my songs. Nightshade, Dream Eater, that's coming out. Like, a little bit of like, actually, a lot of the heavy was inspired by past events and stuff like that. So, like, again, like these things are things that I try to talk about, but not be like, oh, my perspective. Like, I'm sad. They hurt me. I'm not Taylor Swift. I'm like, I sit here and I have a conversation with myself. I mean,
Well, hold up. What's wrong
because
with
Taylor
that?
Swift sits there and just talks about how she's sad about it. I'm not talking about how I'm sad. I sit there and I'm like removing myself from the situation, detaching and saying, look at these two sides of this argument, or look at these two, or look at the two sides of how this played out. And here are someone else's actions, and here's my perspective, and this is this person's actions, and this is potentially her perspective, or what we've talked about. You know what I mean? And that's how I kind of like,
Yeah, it's like an internal war.
yeah, yeah, it's all about perspective. I feel like a lot of my stuff's about perspective. A lot of the EP was all about perspective, and a lot about my stuff is about perspective. But that's what helps me
Yeah.
when I'm dealing with the heartbreak stuff, is to work through. I think that was the question, right?
Yeah.
Was the
Well, it
question?
was. It definitely was. But the questions kind of like are very, you take them wherever
Okay.
you want to go. But I was going to say, I don't listen to Taylor Swift too much, but I think that it's also good to just sit there and be like acknowledge what you're
Yeah.
feeling as well without needing to dissect it. I don't think there's a problem with that either. I think that it's just a matter of like how people cope with
Yeah.
what they're feeling. And sometimes not dissecting them and just being like, this is what it is. And just sitting there for a second is just as healthy as
Yeah, I
dissecting
agree.
it.
I agree. And no one seems to understand that when you're doing that kind of stuff, you're actually really delving to the root of it. See, but it's not about saying I feel sad. It's about saying I feel sad, acknowledging the emotion, but then it's also saying I feel sad, but why does this make me feel sad or anxious or whatever? Like, for example, like with heartbreak with me, it's a really big trigger of my anxiety. And I sit there and like if someone is not treating me like with respect, or I'm getting like ignored, or I'm getting like ghosted, or I don't know, like a fight's going down. Why am I freaking out about this? Like, what is making me freak out? What is the thing in here that's making me say, oh my God, this is like bad? And sitting there and being like, oh, it comes from like my dad, or it comes from like this thing. And like that's what I'm trying to say. Like that's the important part. Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned family, and family is something that I resonate with most. So I feel like you already know that I'm gonna ask you to
Talk about like my dad issues.
Expand on that. Elaborate.
My dad issues. No.
Daddy issues. They're a thing.
Yeah, it's thing. It's definitely a thing. I can definitely say it's a thing. So dad issues. No, I think it's a very interesting dynamic because I dynamic. It's always about situational things and how things are laid like puzzle pieces, but like not as the puzzle pieces kind of sit. It's how if you were to make the puzzle piece like fast and just there generally. Sometimes things just fall as they may. And I think like I'm definitely a nurture versus nature type person, 100%. And I think that like when I'm looking at things that like from family perspective that really influenced me, I think that I look at it in terms of like my parents were trying. They were like kids. They're like in their 20s. Like, can you imagine having a kid in your 20s? And they were doing their best. And I don't blame them for anything because as an adult and as a human and as a fully functioning adult, and I feel like I'm pretty self-aware, I should know the things I should be doing to correct that kind of traumatic behavior and not put it on other people and also grow. You know what I'm trying to say? And like that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's crap. Like I feel like I'm never good enough. Like I don't have like enough self-worth. I feel like, I hate being ignored for stuff. Like not ignored like in a very like narcissistic way.
Sorry, you totally froze after a non-narcissistic way.
What? No, I said some good stuff. I said some like Gandhi level stuff there. Like that was like life changing. I literally
I'm so
now
sorry.
That sounds so narcissistic. Now that I just said that, like I said some Gandhi stuff. Like, oh my God, we gotta redo this podcast.
Wait, you keep on bringing narcissism into this.
Oh, I had an ex-girlfriend that tried to convince me I was like narcissistic. I'm like, I'm not narcissistic. I know for a fact I'm not, because I have a lot of self-confidence because I've went through a lot of people making me feel like I don't have any confidence and also pushing me down into a little tiny box. I don't like being contained. I don't like being like put in a cage. Like this is Chris, and Chris is not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. And you're supposed to be always happy because you're a happy guy and you have a nice, you have kind eyes. You're always going to be happy, Chris, because you have kind eyes, and we need that from you. And yeah. Like, no, you got to come here and you're the firstborn. Like, expectations. I do not like expectations. I'm a human being and I'm allowed to move the way that I need to move, to feel the way that I need to feel, to grow the way that I need to grow.
I think the only boundary there is making sure that you're not hurting other people in the process, like making sure that, this is what I need to do. And I'm sorry that like it doesn't align with your agenda, but this is what I need to feel. This is what I need to do for myself. Obviously you don't want to like make people like, you don't want to gaslight or manipulate other people or like walk on other people's heads and stuff to get there. Yeah. Like that's probably not, you're not going to discover yourself by walking on other people.
Some people think that though. Some people have a different opinion on that, but yeah.
Do you have a different opinion on that?
No, I'm saying some people do. Like the people that feel like they have like that wall, like that mask, and they use that to kind of like trample on people to make themselves feel like I can't be touched.
Yeah.
I prefer to not go that route. It's more of like I'm have self-confidence and whatever, but it's also like, I don't know. I also know I'm just a human being on this planet like everyone else. I'm at the same level as everyone. So I have self-worth, but I don't.
And in terms of confidence, now that is like an interesting topic because some days it's so like it fluctuates for me. Some days I'll wake up and I'm like, yeah. And then other days I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. Today's the fuck day. Today's the fuck. That's 100% today for me.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's okay. You're getting like raw and real and like post anxiety, Chris. So this is probably the most real thing you're going to get for this podcast for me.
So,
when people like talk about their anxiety, but like they're already past it. And it's like, yeah, like I talk to my dog. Like no, like I'm gonna sit here and be like, last night I cried. Like I cried.
Yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
I
Like
do know what you mean.
it's real.
And like, actually, I was going to touch on that at the very beginning of this conversation because we talked about like, you know, turning to music or singing. And like you say that you feel your anxiety in your throat, which is why you don't want to sing when you're feeling anxious.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Personally, I turn to music all the time when I'm anxious or stressed or feeling like I'm having like a depressive episode or something. That being said, like I actually don't write any music because I'm so within my feels that I can't even like, I feel like if I'm ever going to write anything, it's not going to be good because I'm like, everything sucks and I have like no confidence. So I'm like, I'm not even going to try, you know? And then
Oh.
later on, when I'm like looking back at what I was feeling, that's when I like write down my music. Typically, I just listen to music when I'm feeling,
Okay. Yeah, you just like listen to it and stuff.
yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. That's usually when like raw and subconscious truths kind of come forth when you're writing.
Yeah. I mean, I
My
guess it does
best
work
writing.
differently for everyone. And I feel like if I were to sit down and write
Yeah.
while I was feeling those ways, I definitely would come up with lyrics that were very dark.
Love that. We love that. We love dark lyrics because the most softest moments are spoken about in the most aggressive ways.
Wow. Gandhi?
Yeah, yo. Yeah, man.
No, but
Don't feed the narcissism. I'm joking. Don't feed it. Don't feed the animals. Don't feed the wild.
so when
Oh
you
my
wake
God.
up feeling like you just, you know, like what kind of fuckery is this? Um
Yeah. Literally.
what what usually helps you like in this moment right now? Clearly, okay, I just want to say
Oh, man.
you're smiling and laughing, but I know you're feeling anxious and I know you're not feeling your full self given like what you just talked to me about. So like I'm curious as to what you do to get past those feelings because I mean like I use humor as a defense mechanism like no other. Like truly like no other. It's bad.
Yeah.
um
Well, I don't really deflect with humor. I don't really like. I dealt with the issue last night. I try to deal with my stuff and move forward. I just feel tired. It was emotionally draining on me to deal with it. So that's why. But at the same time, though, I'm smiling because I'm having a good time. So I'm able to. I've now learned, being 28, how to like detach from that and be like have a good time. But I'm not anxious right now. Like nothing actually. Honestly, if I didn't fix the issue like last, I would have been anxious for this. I actually did a podcast like 2 days ago, and I was like, it wasn't noticeable, but like I can tell 'cause after I was done singing, I kind of felt it down here. I'm like, oh my God, I was really tight in my throat because I was stressed. A lot of tongue tension when I'm stressed, which is not good for vocals, but whatever. Either way, what do I don't know. Like I woke up, just do like my morning routine, like get some of like those vitamins inside of me, vitamins, however you want to pronounce. Get a little espresso and try to wake up and just take my day a little bit slowly. I'm probably going to end up like not really working on much today and just taking the day for myself and just walking around. I do feel drained. Like my neck is tight. Like I just feel like out of it. But yeah, I'm like fixing. I do things where I touch my hair. I used to twirl my hair in anxiety all the time. That's a thing. I fix my neck. I do a lot of those like little like cues, you know?
yeah.
Yay. Yay. But also everything's okay. Like everything's actually okay. Understanding that anxiety is just fear is one thing. And I just woke up today just trying to I don't know, just focus on my day, I guess. I don't know. I don't think about it too much. I don't sit there and I'm like, well, how am I going to get out of this? It's more like just
Doing
let me
it.
live through this. And the time itself will heal the emotions.
Yeah, I definitely
You know
get
what I mean?
that. A few things to say on that. Like I have been having a lot of conversation in regards to rest recently because everyone's like, you should rest. You should rest. I'm like, fuck, I slept 12 hours. How much more fucking rest do you need me to do?
Yeah.
But like, that's not what rest is, clearly, because I'm still feeling restless. I could sleep for 3 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is. Rest is not, that's not necessarily what rest means. So what does rest mean to you?
I actually wrote a song called Rest with my old band.
Ooh.
Crazy. You just mentioned that. Rest. Think about like my lyrics of that song actually. But
What were the lyrics?
here I sit on my own. No one tells me where to go. I'm lost, never living free. Put all that behind me. From freedom talks to star-crossed hearts. All that I might know. Never see him go, want to watch them go, or something like that. Never see him go, want to watch them go. The voices sit in my head. Yeah. They yell to the void, they want me dead. I ain't dead, and I ain't dead. It's leave me to rest. It's kind of like, I guess, resting is kind of like, and I want just a little piece of me. Oh, please. I think it's about taking that time to reclaim yourself and reclaim the pieces and figure out who you are again and figure out who am I? Because I feel like the noise of other people talking to you and the noise of the world and the noise of everything just gets in the way sometimes. And it kind of clouds your idea of who you are. I'm actually watching the new episodes of SAO from anime. It's an anime thing. SAO, I love SAO.
Sword Art Online?
Actually, the leak. Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm so sorry. It's like such a cringy whatever show, but Kirito is kind of like, I relate a lot to like Kirito and like a few other people in like anime world and whatever. But Kirito, I really get along with, probably on like the lesser side compared to some people. But my thing is like he kind of like loses his idea of himself at one point, and the recollection of other people kind of helps him rebuild that. But my thing is that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have spoiled
That's
that.
okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. But I feel like what I'm trying to say is people have this idea of you and they tell you what their idea of you is. The world tells you how to be and it influences you. And then when you're going through those moments, it's an attack on like not your ego or your id, I want to say, or whatever. It's more of like it's all these like it's like pushing. It's like pushing and like molding you in a certain way. And you need to take that day to be like, no outside pressures. What's the inside saying? Because it's always there, right? Like what do I want? What do I not? And I feel like that's rest. Rest is sitting there and self-reflecting, and also not overthinking it a little bit. And just, I don't know. Everyone has like different ways of resting, I think. But I feel like it's taking a day away from everything and from outside influences and stuff. And just.
Yeah, I resonate with that. But at the same time, it's interesting that you say that. So yesterday I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to start my day. I do not usually do that at all. I just want to preface that that is not what I usually do. But one of my friends works in Starbucks and we went there early and I was like, you know what? Like I have a lot of work to do. So I worked from 4:30 in the morning till 3 p.m. Then I had a podcast interview and then I am in the process of like finding a place to live. So I went to go see some viewings and then came back and I finished my assignment and then I went to bed at 1 a.m. And I went to bed feeling, fuck, I was so not productive today. And then,
What?
Yeah. And I don't know why I was feeling that. And it's because I have so many other things on my plate that I'm like, that felt like I wasn't productive, but at the same time, there was literally no other way to be more productive. And then that very feeling is like feeling like I wasn't productive, even though clearly I was too productive to fault. Like, I don't think that's good whatsoever. Then it makes me feel, you know what, like what the fuck even is the point of trying if I'm still going to feel like I'm not productive and I'm not doing anything. So that's like a difficult feeling I find to maneuver around. And that brings us back to anxiety because you're saying that you're not feeling anxious right now, and good. I'm glad. But I find that anxiety is kind of like it's deep within there, and some days you're not acknowledging it, but it's still there, especially if you suffer from anxiety more often than others, I'd say. So for example, when I went to the store and I was like, I can't find this shirt and I just really wanted this shirt. Clearly, like I was feeling anxious about other things and like projecting onto that. But
yes.
And I'm not sure.
Well, I'm kind of like, I kind of get that. Everyone projects like that. Everyone does that. It's good that you notice that you're doing that because people don't get that. They're like, oh, I went out and I had this happen. And oh, like we had this conversation and it stressed me out. Like we didn't stress each other out. You had something going on and it was brought into this, or I'm at work with people, or I played shows with like my past band. And it's like, oh, I'm so stressed out from these rehearsals, or I don't want to show up. I'm like, you have all your own stress in your own life. You're not showing up. That's like my past band. I think projecting is one of the most irresponsible, and unless you're doing a pile of clothes in a random store, like you're probably fine. But projecting onto people is the worst thing. And it is so selfish and so immature. I cannot even describe that. I like, and especially doing it in a way where you're blaming the person for what's going on in your life. It's like, don't do that. I don't even know how to describe how bad of a quality like that is. Like Actually bad.
Well,
actually, like
I feel like people don't even realize it when they're doing it, though. That's the whole
no, they don't.
problem. I mean, even
No,
like,
they
let's
don't.
take, I don't really listen to Drake, but let's take Drake, for example. Like, I find that
No,
I'm
Drake.
so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm going to bash on him just a little bit right now. I find
I
that,
hate Drake.
pardon?
I hate Drake. I don't hate Drake, but like I'm not a fan. I think it's over. I think it's overdone. I
Oh,
think
okay. I
everyone's
was under the impression that you really liked Drake. So I was like, oh,
what?
so sorry.
What about me gives off the impression that I like
I
Drake?
don't know. I wouldn't have thought that, but
No.
no. So in terms of Drake, like a lot of people are like, oh, he's so woke, he knows like his emotions, he knows where he's coming from. And I'm like, okay, acknowledging that you're feeling meant like you're not mentally there and then projecting it onto the other people, just saying like, okay, this is happening because I'm depressed is not enough. Okay, I understand that it's happening, like you're depressed or you're anxious or you're going through an episode or something. I understand that, but that's no justification to treat people the way that you might be treating people. And I don't know how Drake treats people. That's not even commenting on that right now. I'm more so commenting on the fact that lots of people use their mental challenges to justify their actions. Meanwhile, well, what are you going to do about it then? If you've acknowledged them, are you going to do anything about it? Are you talking to people about it? Are you journaling? Are you like actively trying to like help yourself grow, And I think that that is a little bit more important than acknowledging it as the first step. And I commend that. That's great. But that's the first step. And it's no justification to hurt people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are like, oh, I'm so hurt right now. I'm going to go pop bottles and I'm going to go to a club and I'm going to go hit a person or whatever. Not that Drake is saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that everyone does this mentality of like, okay. People do this thing nowadays where I find I'm very analytical of people. I don't know. I'm very analytical. It's why I write the way that I write.
Good.
I'm very analytical of things.
Great skill.
Aquarius moon, baby. It's fantastic.
Aquarius sun.
Aquarius sun? Hey, Sag. Okay, this is why. Okay, it's making a lot of sense. My thing is people, I feel like they do this thing nowadays where they have this idea of if people are not serving them, it's very self-serving behavior. If you're not serving them in the moment, it's later, blah, 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 whatever. I'm going to go. I think I'm talking about the same topic, but it's like, when they go through like these 2-week relationships where like they're talking to a person, they're being ghosted, and then they don't get exactly what they want. They're like, later, like I'm gonna like live my life, and I'm gonna go to friggin' Queen Street or King Street in Adelaide, and I'm gonna walk around and see horses and cops and get shawarma late at night, and I'm gonna like live the best Toronto life for Toronto, whatever. And I feel like they don't understand, like you said, because the Scorpio man Drake is sitting here having all his emotions put out on paper, but he never talks about the aftermath of that. And like, not that I think like, he writes what he's going to write, subconscious truths, whatever. I don't know how he writes or his ghostwriters or whatever, but he should be talking about the idea of like the lows and also like the responsibilities of treating people with like respect, even though you have issues going on. Not just like, I don't know. I really hate the the lesbian line in his song. I think it's so disrespectful towards the community. I think it's just like, I'm like, what is this? Like this, I can't with Drake. Drake bothers me, man. He bothers me. I think he thinks he's like wiser than he is, but he's not. I personally think that if anyone hates me for that, I don't care. Like he's like, it's just so like Toronto, like you can't fuck with me vibes. And like, that's not mental health. It's not, you can't fuck with me. It's, I'm being fucked with. I'm acknowledging of like, I'm hurt right now. And don't put the false mask on. It's the falsetto. I'm a singer because of that. Don't put the false mask on. It's move forward with life with genuineness and authenticity, and understand like you're sad and you're having a moment.
Yeah.
And like, it's not about going out and wearing the nice clothes and projecting that you feel okay. It's like art, and then you have this hollow center that actually is just like easy to be. It's why people can be crumbled so easily, and then why they treat other people like crap, because their insides are not fully structurally built properly, and they don't have a nice foundation of like self-worth. And because all they're doing is like, let me go grab the bracelets and go grab the cool look. Like all my friends, like we're gonna like, I drink Henny every single night, or I do this, I do that. It's like dude, like And I've seen it from guys that play rock in some of the venues that I've played and some of the lineups. It's this whole attitude of like I'm here and the blah blah blah, and I got the rings and the hand tattoos, but only hand tattoos. Why? We don't even know. We wanted a hand tattoo, most sensitive spot on the body, because I'm so not sensitive.
Wait, the hand is the most sensitive spot to get a tattoo?
I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass right now. I'm writing a song. I don't know. I think it's pretty sensitive. But like my thing is like people just do this thing where they project this illusion of themselves, make themselves feel better, but it's not about that. It's about delving in deep and having a bad moment, breaking yourself down and rebuilding stronger.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
And
that's what
I want to say before I continue that I 110% agree with that. I'm going to go into the flip side for a second though. And I'm going to say that a lot of people not in regards to hurting others. I think that there's no justification for hurting other people, regardless of how you're feeling. But in terms of going out and wearing all this jewelry or, seeking out numbers to validate themselves or whatever else it is, like turning to drugs, I think that a lot of people don't realize that they're projecting onto these superficial things that they think are going to make them feel better, even temporarily. And it does make them feel even worse. And I think that a lot of people... It does contribute a lot to mental health challenges because, they don't realize that they're doing it. And sometimes people feel like they don't really have anything, like they feel like what even is the point of dissecting it? That's not going to help at this point. I'm just going to like live my life. I'm going to live it short. Like I'm here for a good time, not a long time kind of thing. And like, I think that's kind of where it comes from. And a lot of people have really hurt themselves that way, but they needed to go through that before they've come into themselves and have grown and evolved and like have become who they truly are now. And
so you're saying it's part of the self-discovery process?
I feel like for a lot of people, it is part of the self-discovery process because I've talked to quite a few people who have turned to alcoholism and, they've really hurt themselves. They've hurt their loved ones because of it. But it wasn't until it's like you turn to these things when you've hit rock bottom, or so you feel like you've hit rock bottom. And then you turn to these things and then you realize, fuck, that's rock bottom. And sometimes it's like, who knew there was a hell under the rock? So I feel like sometimes hitting that low is what will make them rise again because there's no lower to go, or so they feel. Obviously, like I can't speak too much on that because I've never turned to alcoholism. I get high often. I guess that's kind of what I turn to, but I feel like it might be part of the process for a lot of people. And in regards to like your old band, for example, who are like, oh, I'm stressing, like I can't show up today. Totally agree that they're probably stressing over like external factors. But that being said, is it okay not to show up and sometimes take days where you're like, I actually cannot be there for other people right now because I need to like feel myself out first?
Yeah. This is oh my God, Aquarians and the the open-mindedness and broadness to it, as much as the unmoving ideas in their head. I'm not going to back down off this. I like this. No, it's true. You're right. You're right. Everyone but this is also like why I don't judge people, because everyone does things in their own way. Last night dealing with whatever I had to deal with, the way that it was approached was awful. But I'm a very understanding person. Like I get over things pretty quickly. Like again, with my old band, like they're all like my really good friends. Like love them to death. Like no issues. Like people have their own ways of doing things, and everyone has their own life. They have their own story. It's like again, everyone's gonna do it in their own way. I agree. Maybe I've done it. People actually thought me doing Chris 9 stuff, now that like it's so solid now, no one ever says it anymore. But they thought I was just doing it just a false act of confidence. I'm like, no, this is actually how I am. I had a concussion, so like it kind of really like brought out me without me. It happens to a lot of like concussion patients. They kind of just like drop the bullshit and it's just like boom, because we don't have like enough time, and also it kind of just scrambles your brain. It's fantastic. Would highly not recommend it. But they thought it was like an act for a bit. I was like, oh, this act that it's just this to feel empowered. I'm like, no, it's literally how I am.
Well, that's the thing about the music industry. I think a lot of people think that we're just doing this because I don't know, we can't find a proper job, or we're just like asking for attention or whatever. Like people really don't believe in the arts industry until you make it.
I don't like people that think that like I oh like you don't want to sing right, like there's this karaoke thing that happens, like, you don't want to sing right now. I'm like, no, I don't want to sing right now. This is not why I sing because there's things I want to say. It's not about, it's not about going up here and performing and feeling accolades. It's about
It makes me so happy that you said that because I write music, I play piano, I'm like a beginner singer and stuff. But my main thing is that I play piano. And when I come across a piano, I'm like out in the public or whatever, I'm like, oh, a piano. But at the same time, I rarely want to sit down and play it. Like I don't know. People are like, well, why don't you want to play it? Aren't you like really good? Don't you like, well, first of all, I don't think I'm really, really great. I think that I'm decent. But anyways, regardless of that, I think that people mistake this passion for the need to prove to people that you're passionate about it. And I don't always want to play the piano, especially in front of others. Sometimes I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just not in the mood. And it's not because I don't love it any less. It's just because I do it for me. And that's why I want to do it.
They think it's for them. It's actually crazy how they think that like this thing that we do,
Entertainment. Yeah.
not even talent. It's not talent. It's this work we put into it, and time and passion is for them. It's, I'm here to entertain you. No, I'm not. I'm actually literally not. I'm actually literally not here to entertain you. This music is here to heal myself, other people.
My therapy.
I've had many conversations. It's therapy. It's my therapy. It's other people's therapy. That's why I do it. Like, not getting mad, but I hate when people think that like there's some form of like narcissism in it. Again, some sort of like form of like self-grandeur, pride. As a Leo rising, I can understand why they think that from me.
How much zodiac you're putting into this.
My best friend's really into it, and he says like he's taught me a lot about it like a long time ago, and I really am like that. Sometimes I have that, but he's now, I guess it's my thing too now because I care enough. He's like, oh, like you talk about it like more than I do. You're a zodiac boy. I'm like, get out of here. He's so funny, but he's like my best friend. So of course I'm gonna listen to what he says. But yeah, like my Leo rising, Sag, Leo rising, Aquarius moon. Yay, super fun. The most opinionated person with so much energy and never gonna budge.
I mean, good big three.
Good big three, right? Apparently. What are yours, by the way, before I answer that?
I am Aquarius sun, moon in Pisces. And is that I'm getting a very judgmental look off of you right now.
No, it's like interesting. Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know, I don't remember my rising because it's been a while since I checked, but I want to say Libra, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
So I used to be huge on zodiac, and then I kind of like, I don't know where that went.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not like, I think Pisces moons usually are very in tune with like the universe, and they have like days, off days, bad days, just by chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I think I'd like to say I'm pretty in tune with the universe. I'm a pretty spiritual person. I'm definitely quite emotional, but only to a degree, because sometimes I don't really show my emotion. And I think that's like more of an Aquarius in me, where I'm like, I'm feeling this way, but I'm gonna like be like not really show it, you know.
Ooh, super cute. Ooh, who is she? Who is she? What is she doing?
Yeah, exactly. No, but
I don't want to. So mysterious. Fucking
I don't think I'm mysterious whatsoever, though. I feel like
it's fine. Like when I channel like that Aquarius moon, and I feel like I'm very like, I'm apparently come off very much like people cannot tell like what I'm thinking and what I'm doing, and like my emotional value of anything, and I'm like, that detachment. But it's good, healthy detachment's fine.
You know, you're right. Okay. I mean, like for a long time, I wanted to be a therapist, and I feel like my ability to detach, even though I'm very empathetic, I'd like to think, but I still am capable of detaching, and I think that's like actually why I'm able to have these conversations with so many people, because like I don't necessarily take it upon myself unless it's like someone I'm really close with, and in which case I really feed off of their energy. And I'm like, if you're feeling down, then I tend to feel down as well. But anyways, shit, I totally forgot what we were talking about before.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say the same thing. I'm like, yo, I actually straight up forgot. Oh, people think that we perform and do these things because it's for them, and that it's this like self entitlement crap.
Yes.
And like we think we're the shit. And even like when I played Ghost yesterday on that podcast, they were like, "This is great. I do this again." I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I get it a lot. Like when I'm hanging out with like the singers in this area, they're singers. They will go everywhere and flaunt it and this and that. And I'm like, not for me.
Yeah. And I find that like
Not for
if
me.
you're not flaunting it, then you apparently are not earning the title of musician or something. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, no. I won't say I will literally fight that till like the day I die. The fact someone could be a fantastic, I don't know, like soccer player. Just because like they don't play soccer in professional whatever does not mean that they're not a good soccer player, for example. Why would you like or like, oh, me and my dad like are movie buffs. I like to watch movies. Oh, you don't write any like tell me about some movies. Like I don't really want to like me my it's like more of like me like my dad. It's a private thing. It's for you. It's for you.
yeah.
That's the difference between artist and musician. I'm not a musician. I'm an artist because it has a different impact to me. It has an emotional value to me. It's helping me with something.
Well, I think
And it's
performers they also like get that where they probably do have an emotional impact. And I mean, I don't want to say just because you're
oh
performing.
yeah, 100%. I'm just saying that like they think that we go into it to be the best. I don't give a crap about half the scales on guitar. I learned what I had to learn in order to write what I had to write. And when I have to write something more intricate, I will learn that for that to voice that out. It's a tool. It's a
Cool.
tool.
So are you
It's
self-taught
like,
guitar?
yeah, for a bit, and then I went to a teacher that I blues guitar. I but I learned with a person. That's like where I first started, like blues, like leads and stuff like that. Whatever. Kind of dropped that like a long time ago. After my concussion, I had a hard time playing lead guitar for a bit. It's actually why I started painting, so I can see my hands on the fretboard.
Oh, so you paint as
Yeah.
well. Look at you. So artistic.
No, I don't paint. Paint my nails,
Oh,
and I'm not even a good.
oh my
I'm
God,
not
I
even
thought
good
you
at
meant
it.
paint.
Oh, you do not want to see me paint something. I am trash. I'm only good at music.
I mean, I'm sure there are other
Woo!
things
You
good
don't
at
want
as
to see
well.
those. You imagine I pull out some like one of those like stickers. Like this is my mom, me, and my dad. Like the sun is like green, and like the base is like blue.
Listen,
Like,
that is
the water?
artistry
Like,
right there.
oh my god, we're not even gonna do this right now.
Yeah, let's go paint on
No,
the
it's
live
artistry.
right
It's
now.
artistry. It's artistry, right? Oh my god, you should do that. A podcast of painting while talking about things.
I'm not a painter. Actually, funny story. I love painting. I think it's very therapeutic. I'm not good at it, but I love it. And I remember
Mhm.
I was like painting. I was like, this is fun. This is really fun. How cool would it be if I sold these? And then like a month later, I'm like, oh my fucking God, I can't sell this crap. I'm never painting again. This is horrible. And then I really had to like tell myself, yo, take a step back. This is just like, you're just enjoying it. This doesn't have to be a career. This doesn't have to be for
Wow.
other people. This doesn't have to be for pleasing other people, kind of like what we talked about. This can just
Yeah.
be for you. And that's it. And that's fine.
I know. People, well, the world has brought us into the idea that if we do something, it has to be for some sort of form of self gain.
Yeah.
Capitalistic environments, yay.
Yes. I'm like, I can
Right?
really dive into that as well.
Right? I feel like that's a real thing. No,
No, it is. And it's like very internalized. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, like that's like my thing with music. People also are like they want it to be this massive thing for it to be successful. I'm already super successful. Like it's insane. Like
So what does success mean to you? Because that's like an interesting question and something that I've been battling as well recently. Like understanding like what does success in my life mean? Do I already have it? Like what am I like? Because I journal every morning. And you know, I write about what I'm grateful for and I like the idea of manifesting. And I'm like, I am grateful. Like I'm going to be successful one day. I'm going to be successful. But what the fuck is that? Because like we could also say we're currently successful, you know? So what does success mean to you?
I would say we're current. What does success mean to me? I can look at this in so many different perspectives from my life. There's different ways. It depends on what success we're talking about. If it's like financial, it obviously has like a numerical amount. If it's something that has to do with the heart, it's fully, oh my God. I'm getting so metaphysical. You're making me so you're making me so like this. I don't know. Like I'm like thinking about all the things. I think that success is this idea that you're truly achieving the things that like it's about achieving what you want, but not on surface level. So it's not like, for example, for a 9 to 5er, definitely not us. Like 9 to 5 is like it's like definitely not us. Like for 9 to 5er, it's I got this new promotion. Is it about the money or is it about the sense of like satisfaction that you've grown and that you have new skills and you're now considered better at your job? Right? For music, I voice good emotions. My vocally wise have gotten better and better and better. Success when I look at like my songs is like I see a growth in my music. I see a blending of my ideas. Well, I see a confidence and a solidification in my sound. I see things that are like progress forward, not, yeah, man, the radio played my song, which it has happened, but that wasn't success for me. That was a goal. That's not really success. Success for me, I feel like comes more from like those like more moral kind of values and those.
It's interesting that you say that like goals and success don't coincide, because I find that like that is something that a lot of people like, once I reach that goal, I'm successful. And then you have a new goal. Inevitably, once we reach one goal, we're on to the next. And it's like,
yeah, but I don't sit there and I'm like, I'm going to do the best vocal takes I've ever done. And this is I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm going to continue to do music and I'm growing. I'm gaining fans. I'm friends, not fans. I hate using that term.
It's so funny. Everyone who comes on here says the exact same thing, and I love to hear it.
Because that's like a form of like self-importance. I don't agree with that. I don't have self-importance. I'm here to write music and to resonate with other people, so I can find my people, so I can ask them like, what does this mean to you? Because I'm trying to also understand too, like what I wrote here. I write a lot through subconscious truths. So I write, some of my lyrics just come to me like on the fly, and I'll write stuff down. I wrote a lyric actually really like recently. These hands shake for water. It's like these hands shake for water type thing. I would sing, but yeah, last night was a doozy on my throat right now, so I'm trying to like just a little bit of vocal rest. But there's an idea that I didn't know what I was trying to write, but now I understand. It's like begging for something so desperately, like love and passion. And you're like, your hands are like shaking. It's like the visualization of it. For example, what I'm trying to say is like success for me is when I have moments like that where I see an evolution in myself and a growth in myself. Because that's what matters to me, is me not getting better at this, but me doing what I'm doing and doing it to the best of my ability at that point.
I love that. And I guess I like that you just said evolution, because like I have my little notebook and pencil here just in case I like have something important that I want to talk about. And I literally wrote down evolution, because what I'm gathering from this is that success is like being able to reflect on your past and say, hey, like I've made it. I've made a few steps forward. And that is success on its own.
I think success is also in the idea of also like not making steps forward sometimes and taking some steps back to look at things.
But those are steps forward, taking a few steps back, being able to take a step back and look at the picture, being able to be like, okay, you know what? Like shit, me, like, so I lived in Ottawa for a while and then I moved back to Vaughan, to Toronto. And I remember making that move. I was like, I am moving backwards. And I felt so shitty about myself, but it's not moving backwards. Yeah. Taking those steps backwards, quote unquote, doesn't necessarily, you're a different person at that time. Like we're a different person every minute. Like we're constantly changing for the better or the worse. Our
cells are changing. They're dying. They're growing. I agree with
exactly.
that. I thought about that. Yeah. Okay.
So I really like the idea of being able to look back and be like, I went from a mattress to a bed frame. That's success right there.
Yeah.
So
I
think it's like a really great way to look at it. So do you think success coincides with happiness?
Well, it definitely has a positive correlation. I went to school for mechanical engineering, so I always look at things like in like a graph.
Wait, you finished mechanical engineering?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
That's why. Like, what made you go into mechanical engineering? Not why judgy. That's like very, very interesting. I'm just like curious because you're pursuing a career in music, from what I understand.
I don't know. When I was a kid, I was just very into science and math. Always like really like. Actually, I hate math. I'm fucking crap.
I hate math.
I'm good at like complex math. Complex math, I'm actually good at because it's all about the moving of things, and it's this thing equals that, so you have to plug that in and then remove that, and then if you like, it's like a puzzle, a complex math, like math, like basic math or whatever it is. Like that's why we have calculators. I'm sorry, we barely even use that in our,
No, you're
in our
right.
program.
You're
People
totally
are
right.
like, oh, you can't. I play darts all the time. People are like, you can't do this minus that, like some random numbers. I'm like, I don't care enough. I had a calculator for like 4 years of my life, and like that was what we had to use because you cannot be wrong. Use the tool. It doesn't make you smart for knowing how to do fast math. Like this makes you good at memorization.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't really care. I'm sorry. I don't like arithmetic. I don't understand, and I don't care enough about it because there's other ways to show intelligence. Another idea I have about intelligence. Either way, sorry. Intelligence is also like being able to like do, like not do this, but like conversational thought, thinking deep, thinking big. I feel like that's intelligence, not arithmetic. So I was in that program because I went to school for science. I went to school for science and math and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like I was most like what I was interested in. I wasn't like really, I was into like psychology. I was into all that kind of stuff, but I was kind of like, I guess brought up in the ideas like, oh, like that's not like what you should be doing. It's more like guys do this kind of stuff. Like, you know, like it's like the stupid like masculinity views, I guess, kind of like skewed stuff. Also like parental influences of like what I had to do. Like I would be at home watching Demi Lovato's music videos, doing that kind of stuff, watching a lot of like Selena Gomez in the Scene. I have a lot of like actual like Disney pop punk like influences. Like Lemonade Mouth to Terminate is my song. The Veronicas, like, oh my God. Actually, Nightshade's actually based off of like all those like Disney pop punk influences. I love it.
Whoa, that's so cool.
It's like very pop punk, like very like Disney pop punk. I'm so excited, man. I write post-hardcore. I write like these, but it's in the idea of pop punk. So I'm doing my ADHD thing. So
no, I literally, I'm keeping track. I'm honestly, I am following it.
I know. I could tell. You're like keeping like, so I wrote. So I went to school for that because I felt like I was pressured to. I actually won a music award in grade 7 by just, but I barely like went to the class. I'm like, I wasn't doing it the right way. Playing music the right way. Now I would never say that to myself. I would never say that, but I wasn't playing music the right way. So I stopped doing it.
Well, that goes back to intelligence
really, like,
too.
Pursue it.
Sorry, continue.
Exactly. Everyone has a different way. Neurodiversity is such a present topic in my head that I feel like the world start to understand that no one thinks the same and everyone has different ways of processing everything. It's also why miscommunication happens, stuff like that, and whatever. Either way. So I went to school for that, went to school for mechanical engineering, did not get along with some people in the program, or a lot of people in the program, because they were very like cold people. And I'm very obviously like, no, I wouldn't say warm, but I'm a very like loud, energetic person, like always trying to talk. And after I was done, and they always like were rude to me because they always would treat me differently because I was better at like team leading. I was better at like presentations, talking. The way I would solve problems was different.
Yeah.
I would look at things very differently from them, and it was always a problem. When I ended up graduating, I had a lot of job offers because of that difference, but I already had the toxic idea from my stupid classmates that I wasn't good enough and I wasn't smart enough and I wasn't doing, again, the music idea. I wasn't doing it the right way because I wasn't doing it like everyone else. I always do things my own way, and I've now embraced doing, actually, I supply teach now every now and then. Because I want to work school for teaching. Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I love it. And the kids, I always tell them, like, do it your way. Solve this problem your way. Everyone's going to solve a problem the wrong way. If you want to count things. You want to write it. If you want to say it out loud, use your hands, do it. Like, whatever.
And that goes back to like
Everyone
your music
thinks
as
their own
well.
way.
Cause like you said that, you know, you don't focus too much on learning skills and stuff like that. You just like learn what you need to for yourself. And it's like, there's a right conventional, and I teach piano and I finished like with the Royal Conservatory of Music, and I know their curriculum, and their curriculum is like, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do this, or else you won't get that. You won't achieve it. But that's very one form of intelligence, because there isn't just one form of intelligence. And I just finished my intelligence testing assignment for my history psychology class yesterday. So it's funny that we're talking about this. Okay.
Interesting. Synchronicity. I like it. I like synchronicity. Yeah, but I ended up just not really wanting to do that. And I wasn't really happy in it, basically. Like my passion was in it. And then, but I was always in class listening to drum videos, watching Paramore, reading books, getting deeper into my feels.
So what prompted you to be like, music?
It made me feel safe.
Oh.
Reading books, the music I listened to made me feel safe. Made me feel like, I don't know, safe. Made me feel safe. And I didn't want to lose that because I felt very unsafe in that program.
Yeah.
Is it agoraphobia? I don't know. We'll never know. I don't know. But I was listening to a lot of drum videos, and I don't know. It was like a pull. Like I was like watching drum videos and I just naturally started playing drums, like with like one of my friends at that point. And he was a drummer, he's a producer actually, and he's really well known, great good guy. He's gave me some sticks. He's like, here, use these. I bought my own kit, started playing, bought his kit after, and then I started playing drums for bands. And then I heard a guitar. I picked up a guitar one day, started playing some insanely weird, intricate like finger thing, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm like, "Oh, maybe I know how to play this guitar." So started playing guitar, got really good at it. I wasn't that again. Like it takes time to like make your hands work fast and seamlessly. I'm still not as good.
I've been teaching myself guitar. It's piano came easier to me than guitar did.
Yeah, with pianists approach instruments differently. Guitar is more of a thing. It's more of like a hooligan way of approaching music. You could do whatever the hell you want on it. There's so many different ways. Like guitar is so self-expressive because you can bend notes.
That's cool.
You can vibrato a certain way. You can play a chord 7 different ways because of all the configurations of the strings. You play one note and it sounds cool. You can play 9. You could. It's a whole thing. So yeah, that's basically like where it kind of came from, and it's kind of like the idea of like basically I just wasn't happy, and I don't know. I just kind of got drawn into it. I just got drawn into it. I always had a thing with music though. I always kind of had a connection to it, obviously. And so yeah, no, that's kind of where it went. And it's actually really helped mechanical engineering in this kind of stuff because I helps with the project planning, helps with like the business like side of things, which is important when you're a self-man. I mean, I'm not self-manager. I have a manager, but like I like when the team, the business side, the admin side of things, I'm gonna call it the admin. The old band used to use that term. I hate that. When the business side of the music stuff is important, that's where all those ideas of like efficiency and how to get things done, how to do it properly, good team building, good, not meetings for it, but good meetings about releases and video. We just had a music video like conversation with the director and with the camera people like 2 days ago and stuff, and like with the actors, and that's kind of like what's up. Like it helps.
It does, yeah,
No
absolutely.
form of
Well,
education
any
is bad.
degree that you finish, not even any degree, anything that you learn in life in any way, shape, or form will help you. Like all skills that you learn from anything are so transferable. And
Yep.
I think that's like a huge value. So I finished political science and I did not like political science, but it's because I was going to be a lawyer. And anyways, that's like a whole story of its own. But that being said, I definitely learned a lot in political science that I wouldn't have unless I took it. And I feel like a lot of those skills are transferable. So I feel like, nothing in life is necessarily a waste of time. None of the people that you cross paths with are a waste of time, no matter how hurt you get from that. And I'm speaking from personal experience as well. I think that I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason, but above that, you learn a lot from your pain and you learn a lot from, your happiness as well. And I think that everything does happen for a reason because you learn and then you take those skills and you continue to build up and you apply those skills into other parts of your life. And sometimes we're not even aware that we're doing it, but we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Which is,
no knowledge is ever wrong.
Yeah.
I would say it's never wrong to learn something. I love knowledge, but either way, I mean, like that's kind of like the idea of life though, right? You kind of got to, it's like you said, you're always like moving forward. So take the experiences, understand that you need them and they're there for a reason, and then move forward.
Yeah. And in regards to that, this is weird, but in high school, I remember, okay, well, first of all, I just want to say so I failed my 10th level of piano after like practicing for 9 hours a day. And I consider that like my first heartbreak ever, where I was like so heartbroken because I devoted my entire everything, every moment that I had to this extension of my body, which is what I consider my piano. And like it deceived me. And it felt like we like betrayed each other, like my piano and I literally consider that my first heartbreak ever. But I didn't realize that in the moment until like later on. And I remember being in high school and telling my friends, I just want to fall in love so that I can get my heart broken and learn lessons from it so badly. And it was like the weirdest state of mind because obviously heartbreak sucks, but I wanted it because I was like, there's things that I learned from heartbreak that I can't learn unless I get my heart broken. So.
Wow. That was super high key emo and I really enjoyed that.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on my emo notes. Anyways, carry on.
Oh my God. I was like, whoa. Like that has gotta be a line from like Pierce the Veil. Like there's gotta be a line from like something, man. Like, oh my God. I was like, I'm gonna get my heart broken so I can just feel love again for the first time. Like, oh, I love that. I love
You're
that.
right. That
That's
could
the
be a song
dichotomy of
lyric.
love.
I'm like,
But that's the dichotomy of love. Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like that's what I was saying before was love is that idea. It's like you know it might hurt you, but you want it because you learn stuff from it and you grow. Also, you want to enjoy it.
but one thing I will say is that you never answered whether or not success and happiness coincide.
They do and they don't. They do and they don't. Sometimes doing things that successfully that make you feel successful are not always sometimes doing things that are successful is hard and it hurts. And it's like saying goodbye to a person that you have to say goodbye to. That is toxic for you. There's success in that. You're choosing mental health over that.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard still. Yeah. I feel like that's I feel like it's either or. It's not like so linear. Things in life aren't linear. They're not so black and white.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's not linear. And I remember like thinking when I was 18 that I knew life wasn't linear. I was like, oh yeah, like I hear it all the time. But then you actually go through it and you're like, so that's what they mean. Like it's literally not. But that's also what comes back to the idea of like needing to hit rock bottom before you really learn more about yourself, because that is not linear. That's like a heartbeat.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah. So I'm going to wrap it up here, but is there anything else that you would like to say before we finish?
No, I'll have to be back on. It's a good conversation. I feel healed. Yeah, no, got some future stuff coming out, which I think you'll like then. So follow on Spotify and stuff, because that stuff kind of talked about the stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, and I love your music. Like I love Ghosts.
Oh, thank you. Ghost is a very fun song. I love Ghost.
All right.
Night Shit, I think will be up your alley.
Well, hopefully I can have you back on the show at some point in the future and we can like see your progress, see your success.
My success. I was going to say that.
All right.
Sounds good
cool.
to me. It was nice meeting you.
You too. Bye now.
Have a good one.
So that was Chris 9, everyone. And while I have you here, I would love to play a little snippet of one of his songs that I just mentioned. It's called Ghosts, and here it is.
And I cried. This can't be the last time I sacrifice it all for your kind. The reasons I count